All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. As always, make sure you click that like button. So tonight, we're going to talk about African nations are trying to hijack the reparations conversation. A lot of people have been speaking on President Mahama from Ghana that's coming to the UN, I think as of tomorrow, to do a speech about reparations and how it should be labeled as a, great atrocity to definitely mankind. And, he wants particular redress for reparations. We're going to get into a little of that and who is actually supporting that on a global scale. And there's two arguments that we got to have. One is moral, which more so we would lean into. Majority of us would lean into the moral argument. But a lot of people are not speaking about the legal argument. And the legal argument is when it gets real, probably will get annoying for some people. It gets annoying for me, actually. So we're going to get into both of those arguments so we can have a true sphere of this conversation. Because I already know everybody's speaking on the moral side. Everybody's talking moral, but nobody's talking legality. Or nobody's talking about nation states or our actual position because we are FBA, right? So we're going to talk about that tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody who has, supported us with the African Diaspora News Channel app. That's greatly, greatly important. Let me go ahead on and queue up our app commercial so you can make sure you check it out. It may be your first time, but join our app. You get the full experience of our platform. YouTube and other things that you can get access to, you get a part of it. You don't get the full experience, okay? So let me go ahead and cue that up, and then we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see where I'm at tonight. I'm thrown off, y'all. I'm so thrown off. Let me check it out.
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke.
We binge ADNC like it's Netflix, but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff, no filters, just the truth, daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
Oh, and speaking about the app, so now y'all know what one of our projects, many projects that we have, the Soraya the Songstress. I created. I am the creative director and executive producer of all the music and everything with Soraya, right? Same thing with AfroWire AI. I am the creative director and produce all of that with AfroWire AI as well. And so she has a section on the app now. And so all her music is being uploaded there. So the moment we have a new music video, it immediately goes on the app. It'll come out later, for the YouTube platform. And also if it's something for the DSPs. When I mean by DSP, I mean like Spotify, YouTube music, that sort of thing, right? So I saw one of the comments somebody left was talking about Soraya's clothing and how they like how she dressed. Well, once again, I'm the creative director of that. So what I mean by that, I'm in charge of, so anything you see with those music videos with Soraya, with her clothes, what she's wearing, the direction of the videos and what it's doing. Yes, I have a vision of how not only Soraya, but just how, I guess, my vision of what women should look like. So that's portrayed through that, right? So you don't see Soraya with a bunch of tattoos and piercings all over the place. You don't see Soraya showing herself all over the place. It looks respectful, right? And that's the vision that I see, or the proper. You look at AfroWire, same thing. You're not going to see anything disrespectful. It's just not going to happen. Because that's just the way I saw growing up with a lot of the sisters, right? And even in my own family. So I don't like this new aesthetic. So you would never see that, fly clothes, dresses, hair, minimal makeup type of thing, nice jewelry, something that somebody can appreciate, really, right? So that's really what that is. So yes, anything you see with Soraya and how she's dressing, that's me. Now internally, I have been teased, not in a good way, that I could be a stylist and say, well, I don't know, but I just think that, hey, some things look fly and you should put it on, right? Very, very, very easy. All right. So let's go on and get started with that real quick. And speaking about Soraya, yes, make sure you subscribe to her channel on YouTube, Soraya the Songstress. You can also follow her music as well on Spotify and all those platforms. Like I said, if y'all heard the new song, it'd be something a little different, but it'll get you on the dance floor. I'll tell you that much. All right, so let me go ahead and get started with this because your time is precious. Your time is precious. All right. So let's look at the first thing I want to look at here. Let me get this on the screen. And this is coming from the Africa Report. Let me see here. All right, there we go. All right. So U.S. Africa Week ahead. Ghana's Mahama pushes for reparations at the UN. They say John Mahama. They say U.S. XM Bank. They say Uganda's Bobby Wine and Zimbabwe's white farmers plead their case in Washington. Now the white farmers part is interesting, but let's continue that. So they say this week, they say the U.S. play hosts a series of debates salient to the Africa's past, present, and future. Spotlight be on UN General Assembly, where Ghana's President John Mahama delivers his promise during last year's high-level meeting week to have the world recognize the horrors of the transatlantic slave trade and rekindle the push for reparations. Now, Mahama is expected to present his declaration of the trafficking of enslaved Africans and racialized chattel enslavement of Africans as the gravest crime against humanity for consideration and adoption on Wednesday, the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. Now, he said Kwame Nkrumah reminded us that political independence without transforming the global systems that shape our economies and opportunities remains incomplete. They say he wrote that on March 22nd in an op-ed. He said, in that spirit, he said this month Ghana will table a resolution at the United Nations General Assembly calling for the formal recognition of one of the greatest moral tragedies in human history, the transatlantic trafficking and enslavement of Africans as a crime against humanity, and the need for a process of repair. Okay? So they say the previous day, the UN will host, they say, a high-level special event to discuss reparatory justice for the trafficking of enslaved Africans. They say the Trump administration and other Western governments are expected to resist any calls for monetary compensation. Now, it didn't say just the Trump administration. It said other Western governments. Why other Western governments? Why just not the United States, but all other Western governments that's against monetary reparations? Well, all of them are complicit. Anything considered Western is complicit into slavery. They're complicit in the colonization. They're complicit into theft. They're complicit into taking people against their will. All these people, the EU, or anything that's them folks, anything this, they're responsible. Okay? That's why they're so against it. Hearing them, listen, in America, the Democrats and Republicans, both of them do not want black people to have reparations. So you don't have a friend on no side when it comes to reparations. Because I told people, black people for sure, that what's more important is this supremacy. That's more important, not a political party. And Democrats and Republicans are white first. They're not Democrat first, they're not Republican, they're white first. And you have to understand, they both want white supremacy. They just, one side wanted one version of white supremacy, the other side wanted another version of white supremacy. That's only what the fight is that how we enact white supremacy. One side say I need to go full throttle, the other side you need to be kind of a little bit more, subtle with it and let these others participate lest they rise against us. Y'all doing too much. Y'all gonna cause us problems. So that's really the only fight they have. But they both agree with white supremacy. okay? And that's what y'all all have to understand. Now, we're going to continue to get back to, the African nations and the Caribbean, too. We'll get back to it. I'm leading up to it, but I wanted to just explain that, okay? Now, let's say Ghana is advancing, it's a resolution in its capacity as the African Union's champion on reparations in collaboration with the Caribbean community and common market and people of African descent worldwide. Let's say if passed, this will be the first comprehensive resolution of the transatlantic slave trade in nearly 80-year history of the UN. Say another UN news, the Security Council on Thursday holds a briefing and consultation on MONUSCO, the UN Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Okay. They continue here about the U.S. presiding over the council among the former U.S. ambassador to the DRC, James Swan, has been appointed to lead the peacekeeping mission. So they're talking about some of that there. And then the white farmers, let me give you what that is. I read through that. So the white farmers in Zimbabwe that, Robert Mugabe took the land from them because they belong to black folk, they still crying, but they want compensation and money. So that's what that is. Now, let me get to the next one I see here. Brazil's president, right, endorsed Ghana reparations push at the UN, okay? Now, we know Brazil was a country that had the most slavery, the most enslaved Africans outside of the continent of Africa. We're talking about just at that time period, okay? And we definitely going to get into what Brazil said, ladies and gentlemen. But with that being said, we're going to be at the Ohio Black Expo, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you join us there. Let's go ahead and cue that up.
It's the Unity Reunion Parade, Cookout, Line Dance Party, Backyard, Barbecue, Fish Fry, Vegan Soul, Black Business, Food Truck, Networking, Outdoor, Concert, Music Festival, Celebration of the Year.
It is an amazing experience. You have people from all over the country.
This is my second year attending, and they over-delivered.
So if you haven't come before, you need to come. And you know what? I'm just out here vibing.
Get tickets now at OhioBlackExpo.com.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Ready to dominate your industry with strategy that actually scales? At Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm, we're not just PR experts, we're licensed sports agents certified in AI and elite business consultants with over 2 decades of experience leading global projects across multiple countries. Visit cprfirm.com, that's colemanprfirm.com, and millionairex.ai. Then download the Millionaire X app, your AI-powered guide to getting out of debt, investing smarter, and building generational wealth. Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm. It's a family business. It's different.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So let's get to what the Brazil president had to say about this situation with Ghana, because like I said, I know a lot of you are not, too pleased about that. Why is Ghana getting in the forefront of this, what they got going on? So that's once again continue to build our case, what we're talking about here before we get into the two arguments. All right, so as we see here, they say the president of Brazil, Lula da Silva, has announced Brazil's support for Ghana's United Nations resolution seeking formal recognition of the transatlantic slave trade as a crime against humanity and advancing the case of reparatory justice. Speaking at the CELAC Africa Summit in Bogota, the Brazilian leader endorsed the initiative championed by President John Mahama, signaling growing international backing ahead of the planned vote at the UN General Assembly on March 25, 2026, which would be tomorrow. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. It says Brazil supports the African group at the United Nations in recognizing human trafficking and the slave trade among the greatest atrocities in human history. President Lula said in an address to some heads of state and foreign ministers, said the resolution is expected to be tabled for the United Nations General Assembly, seeks to elevate the historical transatlantic slave trade to the status of one of the greatest crimes against humanity. Now, initiative forms part of a broader campaign led by Ghana to secure global acknowledgement of historical injustice and build momentum for reparatory mechanisms. So they talk about the slave trade, of course. as they forcibly displaced an estimated 12 million Africans. We're talking about worldwide, not just to the Americas. They say with millions dying during the capture, transit, and enslavement in the Americas. Brazil is the largest single destination for enslaved Africans, accounting for a significant portion of those trafficked across the Atlantic, which is true. They say Ghana's diplomatic effort has already secured backing from the African Union and CARICOM, as well as expressive support from several Asian states. Okay, I didn't know some Asian states was a part of that. The Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister said the coalition reflects a growing consensus among countries of the global South that need to address the enduring legacy of slavery. Foreign Minister Samuel Akudizo, hold on, look at that name. I'm trying to see Ablakwa. If I'm not saying it wrong, I'm sorry. Emphasized that the resolution is rooted in historical accountability rather than financial demands. Okay, all right, historical accountability, not money. They say the call for reparatory justice is about shared recognition and a profound injustice inflicted on Africans and their descendants, and say it's not merely a pursuit of monetary compensation, he said in an interview on RT. Well, it's not reparations if you don't get money. President Mahama, who has been designated as the African Union's champion on reparations, first outlined his intent. We talked about this a little before. Now, there's one more thing I wanted to look at. Is it here? Is it this one? I think it was this one. No, I think it's kind of repeating the same thing. All right, let me get back on camera here and let's just have this conversation. So, a lot of Black Americans are saying, well, what are they doing? Are they trying to swoop in and take the money? That's one thing that's being said a lot. Another thing has been said, well, why now? Everybody was mocking us when we was talking about reparations. A lot of people said that a lot of people say you're not gonna get it. Everybody just kept saying you just want to check, but all of a sudden now everybody want to jump on the reparations train. Everybody wants to do it now. What's going on with that? Why did they wait till Black Americans took the slings and arrows about reparations? Why did they wait till Black Americans made it a conversation that's being spoken about global? Because only Black Americans, FBA, made that happen. It wasn't no other groups. It wasn't nobody in the diaspora. It was Black America who made that conversation, even bringing it to the forefront. Reparations was a big conversation in the 2024 presidential election. It's being brought up to state governments, local governments here in America. Black Americans have been on the forefront and the grassroots in America because the N-Cobras, they are not trying to do nothing about reparations. All they want to do is reparation in name so they can have access to white political capital, right? NARC, another one. They may say it in name, but they just want white political capital. They're not serious about getting any kind of monetary payments to Black people. Now, they were cool giving them money, right? But the greater Black America is not they're not seeking that. That's why they've been around for many decades, and nothing has happened with reparations until the grassroots made a move and started talking more about reparations, ladies and gentlemen. So, should they be even speaking on this? Well, if you're not a descendant of slaves, most of the people would say you shouldn't be speaking if you're not a descendant of slaves. I'm just talking about in general. Now, can Caribbean people talk about it in their Caribbean homeland? Sure, they can talk about reparations in their homeland. They can. They are descendants of slaves. Can Black Brazilians talk about reparations in Brazil? Yeah, they can. They are descendants of slaves too. Just as much as we can talk about it. But if you're on the continent of Africa, yes, you were colonized, sure. But here's the thing, you wasn't stripped of like your names, you wasn't stripped of things. Yes, you was on your land. Yes, they were running you, of course. We know apartheid, South Africa, and how that went, right? But you can't claim reparations, not in that sense. Now, you want to talk about European colonization of Africa? That's a different conversation if you want it for that. But you can't really speak on slavery. Slavery is totally different conversation than African colonization. But here's the problem that we run into as Black Americans. The United Nations is built for nation states. I'm getting into the legal argument now. You can get mad at me, but if I don't give the real talk about this and how we even deal with all of that, then I'm not doing my job. The United Nations was built for nation states. So Ghana is a nation state. So their president or whoever they want to send can go to the UN and make any kind of resolution they feel that they need to make as a nation state. When they talk about CARICOM is made up of Caribbean nations. So those Caribbean nations can go to the United Nations and make any kind of claim they want at the United Nations, right? All right, cool. Here's the problem with us as FBA. We aren't a nation state because we are FBA. We are citizens of the United States of America, right? We say it a lot. Because we are citizens of the United States of America, the American government is our representative at the United Nations. Historically, the American government has not wanted to compensate Black America reparations because of what they have done to us. We talking about here. Forget the United Nations. We talking about here, right? So we don't have the advantage, being FBA, to go to the United Nations like a Ghana could or the Caribbean nations could, or any African nations that want to do that, they can. Or any nation on earth can go, but we can't not do that as a nation. What we can do, we can fight for reparations here, just like we fought to get out of slavery. We didn't go to United Nations about that. Well, it wasn't even formed. We fought to get out of Jim Crow segregation. The United Nations didn't grant us anything. We did that on our own, right? The Civil Rights Movement, the United Nations didn't grant us anything. We did it on our own right here, fighting against these people. And when it comes to reparations, it's going to have to be us on our own fighting against them or whatever. Here's the problem within the United States with reparations. I'm going to just be honest with you. The biggest problem we have with reparations, you have the grassroots that want reparations in the form of cash payments, right? Okay, cool. Then we have another side of, we talking about FBA. We're not getting out of FBA yet. We got another side of FBA that don't believe in reparations at all. Some of them in the boule, and they are FBA in the boule. And Black folks getting reparations or doing anything to disrupt white supremacy will affect them. So, of course, they're not going to be in support of reparations, even if they're quiet about it. Give an example. You have a whole Congressional Black caucus that don't even speak on reparations. They don't. They don't speak on the form of cash. So that's the difference between the Civil Rights Movement and now, if you want to be honest with you. People talk about the Civil Rights generation, but one thing I will say about them, they were way more on code together than we are today. I give them that. Because how is it that you're against reparations? But we got to deal with that. The Black politician, he and she is against reparations. That's our I told y'all that's the stumbling block right there. That Black politician, that Black preacher don't help either. He don't support reparations, that Black preacher. But he sure support reparations for himself. Like telling you go get a credit card, open it up, so you can give him money, but he don't want you to have your reparations. You understand? Then there are people that immigrate here from the diaspora that's also against reparations, right? So we dealing with people within the group, people in the diaspora that immigrate here that's against reparations, and I don't even know why they're against it. It has nothing to do with them. And we got to deal with the white folk that's Democrat and Republican that don't want us to have reparations. You got people like Boule Martin that will get on there publicly and say, you're not getting it, and say it with the full chest that you're not getting it, while he gets $350,000 for Kamala Harris and say it's advertising after he conducts an interview with her. He got his $350,000, but he'll tell you you're not getting it. Why would he say that? Because he's in a room with these white folk, and he don't support it. Because if he supported reparations, he would have been kicked out those rooms. That's our problem. So the grassroots really got to battle so many people. Could it be done? Yes. Listen, a sustained fight, a disciplined fight, because it has to be disciplined. A disciplined fighter can always defeat anybody. A fighter who's disciplined and a fighter who don't give up, no matter how many licks they take, you usually can outlast anybody. As long as you're disciplined and you can outlast. The reason why the conversation has even gotten this far, to the point that mainstream media have to acknowledge labels now, like FBA or whatever, why reparations even coming up to this point, is because of the sustained conversation about reparations and beating that drum every day. Reparations, cash payment. You got to keep beating that conversation to get it in the lexicon. And usually when you get something in the lexicon, eventually you have to get it into public policy because it's being spoken about all the time. And that comes from Black Americans doing that. That did not come from Ghana or CARICOM, even though they were talking about it, but it wasn't no significance to it. No one wasn't paying attention to them. They're already messing up. They already said it's not really about financial compensation. So if it's not about financial compensation, don't call it reparations. Call it something else. Call it acknowledgement of the slave trade. You can call it whatever you want, but it's not reparations if it's not money. Sorry, it's not reparations. They pulling that Gavin Newsom. Well, it's more to it than just a check. You say you got to battle Obama too? Yeah. He's a big part of the problem. Like I said, I don't have no respect for him. I don't. I have no respect for him because he could have did a whole lot for black folks. He was in there 8 whole years. You know why? When I really lost respect for him? Trump first term. I say within the first 90 days of Trump's first term. When Trump was going in there, he was doing all these executive orders. He was doing this and doing that. And I was like, hold on. Obama had the same power Trump has. Why he didn't do that? You know what I'm saying? Trump was like, man, forget that. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. All this stuff Trump was doing in the first term. And I look like Obama like, well, my hands are tied. I can't do this and that. But then Trump never said, well, my hands are tied. I can't do that. He never said that not one time. His hands were tied. Even when his hands should be tied, he was like, I don't care what the Supreme Court say. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'll find another way to do it. I don't care what y'all in Congress say. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm like, but Obama, you couldn't do that? Tell about black people? Obama was more so focusing on putting Bussy on the forefront. That's what he was focused on. I'll never forget that when he sat up there and put the pride flag on the White House. I'll never forget that. Then Biden, he another one, had the trans day and the trans exposing themselves with their surgically enhanced body parts. And I'm like, what are these people doing? We got way more issues in this country. I was reading about that, and they say, that particular community only represents 5% of the world population, 5%. So that means 95% of the world is not that way, okay? So why is it that they were focusing so much on 5% of the world population? We're not talking about the American population. We say the world population. Well, Chad, that's what he was focusing on, Chad. He wasn't focusing on black people. That's all he was focused on. I mean, for real. And then I told y'all the Gaddafi situation. That's another thing I lost respect for him on, was Gaddafi. I'll never forget that situation with Gaddafi. And then, I'm kind of glad now that the lineage that he has is what he has. I'm glad he's not a FBA. I'm glad, actually. Because nobody can really throw him on us. Now, Rhonda say reparations is important because FBA's made it popular, and we got to fight Obama, the boule, and the bootlick, and we can outlast them too. That's the positive part out of all of this. Nothing happens without us. This conversation about reparations, even at the UN, that's us. These other groups, these other countries don't have the testicular fortitude to take a stand like that. Sorry, they don't. They have never proven it. They wait for us to step in the forefront, and that's why they begging us so much to come out there with ICE. That's why they begging. Black people, why don't you come out there with ICE? For what? Because they know that if black people come out there, something gonna change one way or another. They know. The reason why Trump is running over all of them is because we're not there. So Trump, like, man, he can steamroll all of them because he know they're all afraid to stand up. Do you know confrontation is part of our culture? Do you know that? That's not part of everybody's culture. Like we are the people that say, I wish you would. That's part of our culture. I wish you would. Please do it. We ready to fight. That's our culture. We're not sitting up here hiding behind somebody. Ooh, I hope. Ooh, can you go out there for me and hide behind somebody and like, yeah, fight and hide. That's not our culture. But I'm glad we woke up and says, no, if we're going to fight, if we're going to confront, let it be for us and our community and our children. We're not fighting for groups that don't reciprocate anything. We're not doing it. Now, Ghana, let me say this much to Ghana. Ghana, if you say, well, I just want to bring the conversation to the forefront. Okay, cool. Let me give you an option, Ghana. There's FBAs in Ghana who y'all giving citizenship to. All right, cool. Give them a position, a liaison or something for reparations, and send the FBA to the United Nations to speak about reparations, and they can actually do it as a Ghanaian in the government. Now, if they want to speak and talk about, hey, we need reparations in the form of cash payments and this and that, Ghana, that'd be one way you could use your nation state to help out Black Americans if you like to. I'm just giving you an option because plenty of FBAs there. Or if you see one of the FBAs here who are very versed in that, and you holler at them, say, hey, look, we like you to be our liaison, for reparations. Hey, we'll give you a citizenship, and then we'll send you to the United Nations to talk about that. Okay, that's a route y'all can go. I mean, you're giving citizenships to a whole lot of people. I mean, I think it would even be a good look if you did it like that. It'd be a good look. Because if American citizens try to go do it, then they can get hit with the Logan Act, which is a law that say private citizens cannot speak for or represent the United States government. So you'll get charged. But if you're a Ghanaian citizen, right, if Ghana wants to do it, then you can go do that, Ghana. I mean, so that's kind of what it is. President Mahama, he don't have no descendants of slaves. He don't come from that. I'm just telling the truth. You need a person that comes from the descendant of slave to go speak on those matters. Yeah. Well, Cedric the entertainer was right. He was 100% right. Yes, he was 100% right. Well, that's our people. That's our people. We're like, yeah, I wish you would. Yeah, please do. Please. That's why even the folks know the difference between us and others. They know. Even when you leave this country, they know the difference between us and others. Listen, I've seen it with my own two eyes. Nobody can tell me nothing. They will treat Africans one way, and they will treat Black Americans another way. And when they see Black Americans, they have more respect for you. A lot of them are interested in talking to you. I'm talking about the folks too. They interested in talking to us, and they don't try us either. They'll try them all day long. Or maybe if they think you one of them until you open your mouth, it's like, oh, I didn't know. Like they'll jump quick. They know our reputation. You think they seen all the Freddie Gray footage? They didn't seen the George Floyd footage. They know we capable of now. Our culture is a confrontation culture. Period. And part of the confrontation culture is also pinning down our thoughts and sharing that with our community. And just as much as I have done that, if you have not checked out, the books I have written, and I will be working on my new book probably starting May-ish, because I say I've committed to putting out a new book every September or so. I finally got my format just right because I did some research. So I think this next one gonna be really good. But if you have not checked out my books here, make sure to check it out. And here we go.
If you haven't read the books Passive Aggressive Racism and 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, you're navigating a system you don't fully understand. They taught you everything except how the system actually operates against you and how to reclaim the mind it was built to control. You can't dismantle what you don't understand. You can't free a mind you never examine it. Passive Aggressive Racism and 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind. Get both books on Amazon today.
After 13 years of exposing lies in the media, I discovered the biggest lie of all. They want you to think racism is random, accidental, just bad people doing bad things. But what if I told you anti-Black racism was engineered, programmed like software, marketed like a product, and designed to survive across generations? That's exactly what I prove in my new book, Us versus the Machine, How Anti-Black Racism Was Programmed, Marketed, and Made to Survive. Get Us versus the Machine on Amazon today, because once you understand the system, you can beat the system. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And shout out to all of y'all who are here as we are talking about Ghana going to United Nations as of tomorrow and speaking about reparations and slavery. And now, Ghana has been, and I will give Ghana the credit, they have been at the forefront of inviting Black America there. Some people say, oh, it's a big finesse. Oh, it was tourism or whatever. To be real, every nation on earth wants tourism, including this country. Well, Trump is messing that up right about now, because I've even, like I said, and I did an interview on Kenyan TV like maybe a couple of months ago. I told the Kenyans, I say, look, hold off coming here if you can prevent it. Wait till he get out of office. I said, because I wouldn't want you going through nothing. I told him that on Kenyan TV, right? But every nation on earth wants tourism. Now, some people say, well, they use slavery to get us there. Well, there were some Black Americans on that committee. From what I found out, there's some Black Americans that was a part of that year of return deal. So just to let you know, it wasn't all of them. They have given citizenships to a lot of people. I do see that, but it's a but. A lot of us feel, well, Ghana and other countries shouldn't be at the forefront of that. But our particular predicament, we are behind the U.S. government. The U.S. government is still the only superpower on earth right now. There's no other superpower but them. They're the last one standing. And we see they kind of a little weak on the knee, a little weak on the knees a little bit, especially all this Iranian stuff and different things that's happening to them. I don't know what Trump and them is doing over there, because the American dollar isn't as strong as it was at one point in time. Trust me, I know. Dealing with these different currencies. But one thing about Black America, right? We don't need nobody else to fight. If we all get on code and just stick to the program. You got these midterms coming up, okay? Midterms. It's coming up very shortly. I have not seen or heard no approaching or tangibles being spoken about to Black Americans by the Democrats. McQueen says, have I ever Googled or used ChatGPT to see what North Koreans think about black people? No, I never researched that. What they think about black people? I mean, whether they like us or they don't, I mean, that's not nothing I think about personally. I'm kind of over that. That's who likes me or who likes us and who don't. Because, I guess me and my wife was talking about this, I think maybe was it yesterday? The beauty about getting older is that you see things so much clearer than what you did maybe 10 years ago. And one thing I could tell y'all, I don't give a whatever about any group not liking us as black people. I can care less if you don't like me personally, because I sleep good at night. I really do. I eat good when it's my meal time. I enjoy my family. I enjoy my life. Yes, I got issues and problems that come up, but I enjoy my life. And when I'm living my life, I'm not thinking about anybody not liking me. That's the last thing I'm going to think about and even put on my mind who likes black people and who don't, or who don't like me and who don't. Listen, I'm telling y'all, I'm going to give you some therapy right now. If anybody don't like, look, who was it? Bernie Mac. Y'all remember what house party that was? Was it House Party 3, the one Bernie Mac? Which one? I forgot which one it was. But Bernie Mac had told Kid at the time, about, look, if people like, I'm paraphrasing, people like you, okay, cool. But if they don't like you, he said, F them, And really, that's the proper way to live. If somebody don't like me, F them. I don't care about them. I'm not thinking about them. So if you don't like me because I'm black, I don't care. You don't like me because I'm a man, I don't care. You don't just like my personality, okay. One thing I learned about the world is that there are people that do like black people, that love black people. There are people that like me. There's people that want to rock with me. And that's people I rock with. And if any of those people turn into the other side, all of a sudden not liking me no more and all this other stuff, okay, I write them off too. Life is too short to be worrying about people that don't like you. I don't care if you like me or not. I don't. Because you liking me or not liking me is not going to help me pay a bill. I promise you it won't. In my case, it won't help me pay payroll. It won't help me pay the AI bill that I have to pay every month, right, to do what I do. So, no, I'm not worried about that. I'd rather be sitting here trying to come up with some new music for Soraya or something than worrying about some people not liking me. I don't care if you don't like me. Please. Y'all better go watch that scene with Bernie Mac. Ain't worried about nobody liking us as black people or not. So what? I don't care if they within a diaspora. Because trust me, in a diaspora, yes, there's some people in the diaspora that don't like black Americans, and there's some people in the diaspora that love black Americans. Okay. Well, those are my brothers and sisters, the one that love me in the diaspora. That's who I'm going to work with. That's who I'm a partner with. Those brothers and sisters. The ones that don't like me, like Bernie say, F them. ICE can get you. I don't care. I'm not worried about it. I'm only focusing on people that like me. If somebody don't support reparations, same thing. F them. If they don't support reparations, we need to get with the black people that support reparations. That's going to work with us to fight the black people that's going to say, okay, we're going to vote a certain way. And if we're not getting what we need, well, we're going to do whatever we need to do. But forget that. We're not going to, these black politicians, if they not going to do right, I ain't supporting you either. Like, no, it's a new day. It is a completely new day. We're not worried. Part of delineation, I think, is delineating from the world. And what I mean by that is don't give your care or nothing to anybody unless you are pro-black America. If you're not pro-Black America, then I'm good. And that goes for anybody. I don't care what religion you come from. I don't care what community you come from. It don't matter to me. I am not against no community at all. As long as you like Black people, I'm good with you. If you don't, move around. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you. Some of y'all worrying about the wrong thing too much. Worrying about driving a certain car because you want people to pay attention to you. Man, forget them people. They're not going to pay that car note. You paying it. They're not going to pay that insurance. You paying it. I had a guy the other day, Sunday, tell me he knew of a dude, went got some Cadillac Escalade. When I heard that, I said, oh, God, he bought an American car. Okay. The dude put down $16,000 on this Escalade. That was over $100,000. The dude was paying about $1,700 a month. Well, he got in some financial trouble. And dude was at church. And they came pick that thing right on up at the church house. Well, all these cars got low jack on them. That's why they know exactly where to pick your car. See, back in the day, they didn't have low jack. So you can hide your car in the garage if you were worried about it getting picked up. But nowadays, they know exactly where that car is every time. And you're like, well, I'm going to take it off. And if you take it off, it's part of the contract. It has to stay on there, or they have to come get it, or they'll file some charges on you. It's wrapped up in those contracts you're signing. But I was like, wow. So the guy say the $16,000 was gone. Basically, he lost $16,000. I said, man, $16,000, that could have been a car, or at least half, like maybe if you got something, $25,000, $30,000, he would only had half to pay, and his notes would have been low. Why would he go get a car that, I said, it's dumb. And I see so many of our people doing that. You go buy clothes, cars, you staying in places you can't afford to impress people that you don't even know, and they don't even like you. We as Black folks got to get out of that, man. Stop doing things to impress other people. Because nobody going to help you pay them bills. Yeah, Beanie, the repo man told me, this is a repo man told me one time, he said that is a business that stay busy. He said, if you a repo man, you will never go without a job. If you a repo man. Just that simple. You would never go without a job because it's always cars being picked up every day. And the brother said, we pick them up from people's house, take them to the storage. If they don't do their thing within, I think, 10 days legally, at least in the state of Texas, with the people that picked it up, you can get it back. But if you don't, then it goes straight to the auction. The dude told me people get it from the auction. And sometimes they get in trouble. And then we pick the same car back up in the same, he says, it's a revolving door with some of these cars. He says revolving door. And my thing is, a lot of us be buying these cars, these expensive cars, $50,000 for a car for what? For what? What do you need a $50,000? Sorry, we don't. No. Oh yeah, the funeral man. The funeral man gonna be. Oh yeah, the funeral. Yeah. If you get you a funeral home, you'll never worry about a recession. That's for sure. I'm gonna tell you what. During the pandemic, the funeral man, ooh, because you remember all them people that passed away during the pandemic. Now people talking about AI can't take the repo man job. AI can't take the funeral man job. I went to the doctor today and I had to get some blood work done. The phlebotomist and all that, AI can't take that job. So I'm trying to prepare y'all to get in the fields where AI can't take your job. Because with all this AI coming in, I keep warning y'all, you're not going to say Brother Phil didn't warn you. With all this AI coming in, y'all need to be doing jobs that they can't take from you because you got bills to pay. And you know you're going to be the first one they fire as a Black person. You know that. You the first fire and last hire. You know that. Now, Rhonda say, I don't care who don't like me because they don't pay my bills and I don't waste my time. Hey, Rhonda, that's the same thing I said, sister. I said the exact same thing. You learn that. At one point in time, y'all, when I was doing this platform, it would bother me at one point in time, like, well, why I'm not invited to this thing, and why people don't like, I got this platform, but I'm not involved with this. And I know they see my platform, so I see them in the analytics watching, but yeah, and then it hit me one day. I'm like, one, it's not meant for you to be around them people. That's for one. Two, you've never been that kind of person worried about other people. What are you doing? And when those two thoughts came, I said, I know it came from God. I like, yeah, what am I doing? You know? And so that's why I'm like, I go to, like my grandfather always say, you go where you want it, and you don't be nowhere you're not wanted. So I go places that I want it if I'm invited to, and I'm happy to be there. That's why I've always told y'all, I'm giving more love in the African continent than here. I've been invited on more things over there than here. That's a truth. I accept that. And I say, hey, okay, that's what sometimes maybe that prophet is without honor his own hometown thing, right? And that's cool. That's cool. You know, I got some people, they have problems. They always calling me for everything. Hey, Phil, this, that. But that's the only time I hear from you is when you got a problem. I don't hear from you no other time. That gets annoying. I see why some people disappear too. Because you only calling people when you need something. You can't even call and say, how you doing? You know, have some sort of conversation outside of what you need. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. But yeah, don't call people only when you need something. Because, you know, eventually people get tired of that. Then eventually what's going to happen, those people are going to block you. Because you're only calling to drain. You're not calling to impart. At least if you're going to drain, also impart to that person. Like, if they help you, say, you know what? Man, or sis, you know, you've been helping me out on this. Like, look, man, I know this person. It's not always money. Sometimes it's, you can introduce somebody to somebody else, right? And point somebody and say, look, man, I know this person. Get with them, X, Y, Z. Everything got to be money. And sometimes it's just access to places. It's not always money. But don't always be calling people when you need something, bro. Like, people get tired of that. And you wonder why you get blocked. And I'm gonna tell y'all that. If people keep calling you and they never impart nothing to you, they always draining you, man, you got to block them out your life. Because you're not bringing anything here. No. Rhonda, you say the dummy, you say who weighs 16,000 who had got a 2021 and put down 16,000 and have low payments. Well, you know, I saw the other day, if you want a Buick, you could have got a Buick, used Buick that's newer, and probably had the Buick paid off. I mean, now, if you're great at keeping up with your maintenance, I mean, on an American car, you better stay on top of the maintenance or it's going to leave you on the side of the road. But still, it's a whole lot he could have done. I mean, when he bought an American car, I mean, shoot, you might well bought a Buick. A used Buick, you would save a lot of money with a used Buick. I've looked at it. He could have bought that cash. You say when people who don't call me, it's an all of a sudden call when they want something, I just let the phone ring. Yeah. I'm just giving y'all that. Don't let people just keep draining you. Man, you ain't got time for that. We got enough of the world draining us, right? The folks coming at us constantly. All kind of people coming at us constantly. And with that being said, people coming at us and you know, hey, it'd be good to see y'all in Toronto. I don't know if any of y'all bought the tickets yet for the ADNC Narrative Power Summit in Toronto, where I'll be there and the team. And if you haven't heard about it, let's go ahead and cue this up with LaShera.
Toronto, July 25th. The Narrative Power Summit is landing in the 6. This is about ownership.
This is about controlling our story.
If you're serious about narrative power, strategy, and ownership, this is the room you need to be in. To get your tickets, go to africandiasporanews.org/Canada. I'll see you in Toronto.
All right, make sure you check us out there in Toronto, Canada, ladies and gentlemen, in July, brothers and sisters. All right. You said it's TSA or Border Patrol checking in? Well, I mean, I would hope you would be flying. I mean, TSA is not going to be on the border. It's going to be U.S. Border Patrol. Then if you're driving, then you're going to cross into Canada, and then you're going to have their, Border Patrol. So if you fly in like myself, I would have to fly in from Houston. Then I'll deal with immigration, when I get there. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, as long as you got your U.S. passport, you can go into Canada. I mean, unless you banned for some reason. But hey, that would be that. So we definitely will be there July and having a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, you talking about ICE at the airport? Yes, I did see ICE at the airport. I'm gonna actually talk about some of that because I seen a video. I'm talking about on the podcast. I seen a video of a sister kind of criticizing some things, and I want to address that in the podcast. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely want to thank y'all for joining us tonight, and we'll definitely see what President Muhammad is going to talk about at the UN, and see if there's anything that we need to circle back on. But thank y'all for also, like I said, being a part of the African Diaspora News Channel app, and also tell your friends and family about our platform here and all the others. And if you like some good music, make sure to go subscribe. Soraya the Songstress on YouTube. Every week we're releasing music with Soraya, okay? And we enjoying that project. But thank y'all for listening. We'll catch y'all on the next one.